chapter 3, verse 16. This is the worst one. He saves the worst for last, okay? Instead of the best for last, the worst for last. Verse 16. So then, because you are lukewarm and neither cold nor hot. Now, I love this because I'm an expert on this. Very few things I'm expert on. We had 8 children. I can see this coming. They look at you and they go, I don't feel very good. And all of a sudden you see this reflexive movement down in the lower abdomen area. And they go, and then their eyes get bigger. And there's 2 types of vomiting. I'm also an expert in that. There is the delicate, where they go, and you just put your hand out, and there's this little, and you go over to the sink and wash it out because you didn't want it to get on, the carpet or the couch or in church, wherever you are. Then there is what is called projectile. That looks like a fire hydrant. When they crank it. We raised projectiles. And I can remember seeing that look on their eyes, looking at Bonnie. I'd even have my suit on because it'd be a Sunday, between services. And they'd come running and go, and you hold your hands up, but it goes like that. Now, it's funny, isn't it? Do you think it's positive or negative for Jesus to say, your behavior makes me so sick, I want to projectile vomit you out of my mouth? That is negative. That is not positive. That is sad. Why? What would cause Jesus to get so sick? Because you say, verse 17, I am rich. By the way, what's the goal of every good American? To become financially independent. That's the goal. It is. I want to work harder. I'm going to have 2 jobs, 3 jobs. I'm going to save. I'm going to, and there's nothing wrong, whether it's Dave Ramsey, who is so wise, or Larry Burkett before him, or Ron Blue, or any of these guys, or even the people that we don't know about, the economists. There's nothing wrong with being out of debt. The Bible says that. The goal in life is not financial independence. It's God dependence. And God said it's very hard to be financially independent and totally to trust and be depending on me. In fact, what's the standard for believers in the Lord's Prayer? Give us what? You all know the Lord's Prayer? Give us this day our what? Not us. We want a year's worth. In fact, we would like 20 years' worth. We'd like enough so we can retire at 55 and live to be 95 and still have enough money to have our membership at the country club. See, that's financial independence. And we want to not go to the state-run, old folks' home. We want to go to the one where they feed you, steak, and where they, you know what I mean? It's like we have to have the best. And Jesus said to this church, you say, I am rich. I have become wealthy. And I have need of nothing. Isn't that the goal? No one will ever tell me what to do. No one's going to order me around. No one's going to fire me. No one's going to have a clout over me. No one's going to ever, downsize me or, outsource me or whatever. I'm going to be rich, wealthy, in need of nothing. The American dream is what that is. That is it. Work hard long enough and nobody can tell you what to do. And you do not know. Because in the process of becoming rich, you have to make choices. And something got neglected. And what got neglected is the easiest thing to neglect. And it's the pursuit of godliness, which, like in the introduction to our weekend, have you all gone down and considered the lilies yet? We read and we did it, and it's wonderful, and it takes quite a while. I finally said, Bonnie, honey, we got to stop considering them. We're going to be late to supper, But we were looking at the lilies and slowing down. Look at what it says. You do not know that you are wretched, miserable, poor, blind, naked. That's how Jesus described those Christians. Is that positive? That's not positive. Well, Christ's diagnostic report on the 5 sick churches The 5 sick ones are Ephesus, Pergamus, Thyatira, Sardis, Laodicea. I just read to you his report. Basically, he said the Ephesians were coasting. Yes, they were the big church. They were doing great, but they weren't operating on what Jesus said. What did he say in John 14:21? He that has my commandments and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me, and he that loveth me will be loved of my Father, and I will love him, and we will manifest ourselves. They were keeping his commandments, but not because they loved him. They were keeping his commandments because they were supposed to, and that's just how it was. And they were keeping the whole thing rolling. Smyrna, fear not. Pergamus, overexposed to sin, infected by sin, and Thyatira appeared to be unsaved. Remember what it says in chapter 3? The Sardians, he said, you are dead. You're operating. You're like a corpse before I breathe life into you. That's how you are. You're just like you were before you were saved. And he said, that's unacceptable. And then Philadelphia. If the Lord doesn't return, and, if we all don't die in our sleep from coldness or whatever, tomorrow, Philadelphia, absolute approval. Boy, that is the best one to read. Laodicea, spiritually blind. Okay.